you stand far away? Why do you hide yourself in times of trouble? If I were a better actor, I would have really thrown a ringtail fit and acted like I was like a little toddler throwing just a fit. But here you have the psalmist asking this question. Why, God? Why is it like this? Why are these things going on? What's happening? Why are things so bad? And then he goes on in verses 2 through 10 as we look at Psalm 10. He lays out all sorts of ideas about how much trouble he's in and how many people are coming after him. I encourage you to read it as we ask, and I encourage you to really take your heart before the Lord and say, what's going on? The psalmist did. It reminds me of John chapter 10, verse 10, where Jesus is telling us that the thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy. He goes on to say, but I have come that they may have life and have it abundantly. But he makes no qualms about the fact that there is an evil one. There is someone on the attack. There's somebody who's coming not just to tempt you, not just to make you mess up, but literally to destroy your life. It reminds me of a good friend of mine. His name's Grant Woods. He does a website. He does a video channel that's called Growing Deer TV. But one of the things that I remember him talking about, he's got all these cameras all over his property. And one time he was watching the video and he saw in just below one of the cameras a bobcat perched up on a limb. And he was just watching. And the next day, the bobcat had moved from that place, but as he looked at the picture, the bobcat was now down about 6 feet from a path, a place where the bobcat had seen where the deer had gone the day before. The next day, he was looking at the exact same video and he saw that the bobcat had moved even closer and had found itself right underneath a bush, right next to the trail where the deer walked. This time when the deer came, the bobcat attacked. And it seemed, I'm sure, to the deer to be sudden, but what had really happened is that it had been stalked. And for several days, that bobcat had been doing the research and finding out where its prey would be. What I want us to understand, sometimes we feel like we are suddenly under attack from Satan. Sometimes we feel like we're suddenly under attack by the evils of this world or by the things that have gone on. What I want us to know is that God is giving us direction continually. So read Psalm 10. Look specifically at verses 2 through 9. See how you can see areas where in your life you've been frustrated or wounded. But then also look to the Word and allow it to teach you something different. See, in verse 10, it goes on and says this, the helpless are crushed. They sink down and they fall by His might. And they're talking about of the evil one. He says in his heart, God has forgotten. He has hidden His face and He will never see it. It goes on and says, arise, O God, lift up your hand, forget not the afflicted. Why does the wicked renounce God and say in his heart, you will not call to account? It's funny because there's several things that the wicked has said. In fact, there's 7 phrases that I want to share with you that you'll find from verse 2 through 13. One is this, that there is no God. There's another place that says, the fool says in his heart that there is no God. I shall not be moved. I shall not meet adversity. God has forgotten. God has hidden His face. God will never see it. And God will not call to account. These are things that the wicked say. These are things that the wicked believe. There is no God. He's never going to hold me to account for this. He's hidden His face from the righteous. Goes on in verses 14 and 15 and shares with us that God indeed will call to account the wicked and uphold the oppressed. Finally, today I want to share with you verses 16 and 17 specifically. Here's what they say. The Lord is king forever and ever. The nations perish from his land. O Lord, you hear the desire of the afflicted. You will strengthen their heart. You incline your ear to do justice to the fatherless and the oppressed, so that man who is of the earth may strike terror no more. The point that I get out of those final two verses is that regardless of how we've been oppressed, regardless of the opinion of the wicked, God is faithful. And we can rest in Him. Go to Him today, confidently. If you find that you're in the place of the wicked, where you've been saying the things that the wicked say, there is no God, I won't be held to account, then know for sure someday you will. Know for sure if you're the one who is taking advantage of the fatherless or the oppressed, that you'll be called to account. So walk in Him. Turn to Him and allow Him to give you new hope today.